The latest season of Man Into the Wild begins. Past season champions return to challenge. They caught a big fish by making their own hooks and made delicious smoked fish. You really have a lot of hands. The first contestant, Chris. He was the Season 8 champion. Second place, contestant Joel. Season 7 contestant who survived 40 days. The third contestant, Britt. She was the runner-up in Episode 5. This time the judge is Jordan. He was the Season 6 champion and the one who hunts the most food. The challenge is, they have 3 days to make fishing tools. Make the fish into smoked fish meat. This skill really tests the ability of the contestants to survive. The more fish you catch, the longer you live in the wild.
The nerve-wracking part.
So I got a box here, a mystery box. Your challenge is
You may use only the tools in the box. Please be some fish hook.
build a fishing kit and a fish smoker.
Let's see what we got to work with here. Got some antler tines, got a little bit of paracord, a little pocket knife with some kind of with no handle. But it looks like it's primitive fishing technique. Jordan's not gonna make it easy. Well, obviously I'm gonna have to make some sort of axe handle.
The players each get a box. They need to complete the challenge with the tools in the box.
Jordan,
Make fishing tools and caught a fish over 15 centimeters. Made into smoked fish meat. Opening day. Each player is placed in a different position. They will use local materials. Complete this challenge. Cress is going to set up a smoky oven here. The fish caught is made into smoked grilled fish. You have to build an oven. When you dig in the oven, you can find worms. Dig a hole. Then get some branches. Make it look like a little mud hut. It doesn't have to be pretty. It's practical. Joel first explores the nearby fishing area. You should catch some rainbow trout here. Alone in the wilderness of the past. Many players use barb-free hooks to fish, and they all get very good results. This time he wanted to fish in the same way. It's a little harder though, but it's more challenging. Joel saw animal bones on the ground. It looks very fresh and very appetizing. If you use it in bone soup, you'll eat it. Animal bones are hard. He's going to use the bones to polish them into hooks. A fish hook without barbs is straight and sharp at both ends. The middle of the bone is a good fit. He cracked the bones. Get a little piece of bone. The next step is grinding and shaping. Use the knife to make a small slit in the middle of the bone. A small hook is ready. He's going to make another one. Improve fishing success. Everyone else is making ovens or fish hooks. Britt was perfecting an axe. The main idea is a waste of time. He found 2 bamboo tubes. These 2 bamboo tubes are not used for fishing. It's to test the sharpness of the axe. The axe took several blows. Didn't even cut the bamboo. Britt's embarrassing shit just came out. What the hell is he doing? Chris is perfecting the fireplace. Joel has been making fish hooks. It's raining heavily here in Britt. He collected a fishing rod, but now the rain is seriously affecting his work. To avoid being struck by lightning, let's get out of the rain first. Time to the next day. Chris is going to make fishing tools. The fishing rod is very important to him. To have good bending. These fir branches are very good. He climbed up the tree and picked a thin branch. The toughness of the branches is not very good. It could easily break. Chris tied it to a tree to set it. He's going to carve a hook out of antlers. Too bad the knife didn't work. He had to use another knife to make it. Britt is also looking for materials to make fish hooks. He found an acid bench. There are some inverted hooks on the branches. Just to get a hook. Got pricked by a branch a dozen times. The hooks on the branches are of different sizes. He looked for a small hook with a small angle. Britt's fishing spot is the pond, so there should be more catfish in there. You'd think he'd use the spikes as hooks. I didn't expect to use the top wooden pole as a hook. When a fish bites it, it gets stuck. Whether you catch it or not is another matter. Joel finished the hook yesterday. Today he's going to look for worms or frogs as bait. Grasshoppers are also good material. The bird in the tree had an earthworm in its mouth. If I can shoot the bird down. We've got roast meat and earthworms. He found a wet spot. An earthworm was found here. He found a small animal nearby. Joel wants to use this guy as bait. Picked up the rock and wanted to kill it. He didn't think it would actually catch him. How does a rat fish as bait? He used willow branches as a fishing rod. Just waiting for tomorrow to catch the big fish. Time came to the third day. Chris, everything is ready. Just need to catch the fish. He tied the fishing line to the branch. Can such a small branch really catch a big fish? And his bait was straight. Soon there will be fish on the hook. He actually caught a fish. This fish is a little small. He's going to catch a bigger fish. All the players have already started fishing. Britt's got a fish bite, but he couldn't catch it. He used a dead snake as bait. Looks like he's after the big fish. He cast the bait into the water. Soon there will be fish on the hook. Caught a small bass, but he wanted to catch a bigger fish. Everyone else is fishing in the fish pond. Only Joel was fishing in the creek. A fish bites, but doesn't bite. He decided to continue fishing in another position. Head up the river. Here's where the water is. The fish bite is very heavy. The second time I caught a fish, the fish swallowed all the bait. He just set up the oven to cook the fish. That's a lot of stone for a stone fireplace. Probably thought the first fish was smaller. He went to the stream again and began to fish. This time I caught a bigger one. This fish should fit the bill for the show. Britt caught a small bass the second time. It's a good size. He collects some taro leaves. The intention is to use the leaves to make smoked fish meat. He just dug a hole in the ground, then light the fire. After getting coal, place the fish on the grill. The top is covered with a layer of leaves. I want to cook these fish with the warmth of the charcoal. The seal is very good. There was a lot of smoke inside. In a couple of hours, we should be able to cook the fish. Chris was not so lucky. He caught only one fish. Time came to the third day. All the players are making smoked fish. Chris and Joel made it by building an oven. Cress starts the stove. Although the fish is small, but the fish head and fish are roasted together. Hanging fish from the fire. And put a lot of fir branches over it. Nice work on the fireplace. It should be delicious. Joel set up a stone fireplace. Cover the grate with bark. The fish is already baked in there. But the tongue fireplace is a little drafty. The temperature inside is okay. It just takes a little longer. Smoke it overnight and eat it tomorrow. It's audit day. Jordan will judge the fruits of their labor. The players use different tools. I wonder if I can finish the task in 3 days. Caught a fish over 15 centimeters. And make it into smoked fish meat. The first test was Britt's grilled fish. It was smoked overnight. When he opened the leaves, the fish inside is not charred. Look golden and golden. The fish is very firm. It looks ripe enough. It tastes very delicious. I can't stop eating. And Cleese's fish is ready. The fish is dried up, perfect for preservation. It tastes good too. Joel opens its stone fireplace. The fish inside is roasted into strips. The dried fish have become crispy. It breaks into 2 pieces very easily. It's great for snacks. If you cut the fish into bigger pieces, maybe it's good. Would you rather have fish or dried fish? Jordan recognized the abilities of all 3 men, able to obtain food in the wild by means of their own survival. That's all you need for a survivor. Joel's pipe oven is very good. The confidentiality is also very high. An oven built from a mountain structure, although only 1 fish was caught. But it's enough for him to survive. Britt is very good. He made a fish hook out of a tree branch and caught 2 fish. Although grilled fish is very humble. It's like using local materials. Joel did a really good job with the materials. Used the bones as hooks and caught a rat as bait. 2 fish were caught on a fishing hook and built a beautiful stone fireplace. Smoked fish through the fireplace. Better than the other 2. All 3 can meet the requirements of the show. And it's done really well. To see who's the best. That's Joel. He didn't just catch fish. The fish hook is also very original. The fish is also very good. Joel showed more survivability than the other 2. I deserve to win this competition. So who do you think made it better, guys? Welcome to leave a comment. 3 days to build a hunting trap. Some big guy built a shelter trap. Big watermelon in seconds. And some big guy made a bird trap. They're really good with their hands. Number 1 contestant Jordan. He was the season 6 champion. A deer was successfully hunted. Survived 77 days, eating barbecue every day. The second contestant Britt. Runner-up in season 5. And the third season contestant who survived 33 days. The third contestant Lucas. He was the first season contestant to survive 39 days. This time the judge is Chris. Hunting a deer with an arrow in season 8. Win the championship. This year's challenge is, players have 3 days to build a death hunting trap. The top-rated player will be rewarded with a 50,000 bonus. Each player gets a box. They need to finish the race with the tools in the box.
Another mysterious box.
What is in store for me?
Let's get at it.
Open sesame.
Brown envelope.
You want to smell it?
To complete the challenge.
Our challenge this week is to build...
Cool.
The trap must be capable of killing its prey, and use watermelon as a test. At least crack the watermelon.
I'm gonna only use the tools in the box, and I'm up against Britt, Jordan, and Lucas.
Don't worry, kiddos. No bunnies will be killed this week.
All right, I like building traps.
All right, what do we got? Second thing I have is some bank line. I've got a kukri in here. That's a beauty. And the last thing I have are some animal bones. Only up for the challenge, so good luck to Jordan and Lucas. I think I got this one though. Thanks a lot, Clay. This is gonna be a lot of fun to do.
It's time to get to work.
Opening day. They're going to be put into different environments. Build hunting traps according to your environment. In fact, every player is no stranger to traps. The most commonly used are rat traps. This trap is also called the forward trap. Just look at the stick, and you know it's a dead end. But Lucas isn't going to do these simple traps. He was gesturing on the ground with his stick. It's made mainly with ropes and sticks. There's a trigger on it. As soon as the prey touches it, they will be hung. As he spoke, the stick fell down again. Hang it up or drop it. I listened to him for half an hour anyway. I don't understand. I didn't wait until he was ready. I don't know what he's talking about, do I? Maybe he's trying to make a Mojave scissor death trap. When you're done, you can use this dog to test its power. He chose a tree root and began to cut it down, making trap gestures under the roots. After planning, start looking for the right wood. Because the test was a watermelon, he had to find a very heavy log. Lucas had his eye on the tree behind him that was about to be cut down. It's very straight. Today's machetes are also very powerful. Britt's still picking his spots. He began to collect wood. These centuries-old trees were also found by him. Such a big piece of wood. Don't say little animals. It could kill a cow. Once you've got the wood you need, I started making traps. Britt sticks 2 branches in the ground. What kind of trap is he trying to set? The soil here is too hard. Looks like he's thinking about changing positions. Britt has been collecting twigs. Lucas has already cut the wood, and Jordan was cutting wood. He arranged his wood collection in a triangle. Then he stuck the stick in the ground. People who don't know think he's building a shelter. It's just a little trap. As for making it this big, I really want to smash them to death. Time to the next day. Britt chose to change the material. He came to collect bamboo again. The ground is too hard. Instead of the fork, he built a triangular fork out of bamboo. Looks solid. It's actually a shoddy project. He had to think of something else. The ropes were reinforced. This time he could support his weight. He tested the weight of the wood again. A force like that could break a cow's leg. Britt managed to hoist the wood. A twig was attached to the other stick. I didn't know how to operate the whole process. Even Britt was lost in thought. Jordan found a wolf bone. He's going to use this bone as a trigger. Bind the wood with rope. Then I hooked the bones to the branches above. When he removed the weight column, the stick could not bear the strain and fell. I wonder if it worked or didn't work. Lucas is still collecting wood. For these 2 logs, almost cut down a tree, he is going to hang the wood with a rope. Make a scissor-shaped death trap. Because the wood used was too heavy, so it was very difficult to make it. Lucas also created a special passageway. Prey must pass through here to eat the bait. We have a much better chance of catching it. Finally, set the trigger mechanism. It's the hardest part. Bait will be placed inside. As soon as the prey touches the mechanism, the wood will fall and break his legs. This trap looks hard. It's not easy at all. Time came to the 3rd day. It's a work in progress. Lucas is going to test it with dogs, and Jordan is still struggling with the trigger mechanism. His trigger is not in the right proportion to the weight of the wood, so we're going to have to set up a new trigger. He fastened the bone directly to the horizontal stick. Finally, he was able to lift the wood. It's just this place is so big. I guess it takes a cow to make a difference. You can't catch a rabbit or a mouse. He found a piece of wood to test. Today is the last day. There's not much time left for the players. Britt's still working on the trigger. He was going to change the material again, looking for something to replace the trigger. He fastened it in a row with sticks, intended to be a pedal mechanism. Lucas has finished the trap. The rest of the time, he wanted to work on something else. He's collecting wood again. Almost everything depends on wood. He's going to make a bird trap. Lucas shapes the wood. Then it's secured with a rope. Make the wood into a frame. Then a lot of string is tied onto it. Weave a web. Turns out he was working on a dragnet trap, mostly to keep the prey under cover. Jordan's working on a hunting trap. Building a trap is like building a shelter. You can't let your prey escape when you catch it. Time is running out. Jordan's death trap is almost done. Just want to make it a little more perfect. And Britt's working on the trigger. The stakes are high. Fortunately, he was successful in the end. Jordan also made it. Today is the day of the test. Can each player make a trap within 3 days? Can the trap be made to have enough lethality? Police will judge them. The trap requirement is big enough, and it has a drop impact. The first is Britt's bamboo trap. His trap looks very rudimentary. I just don't know if I can smash this big watermelon. Just as he was preparing for the test, there was an accident. The entire trap is equipped with an explosion. Once it's rebuilt, use watermelon to test. The watermelon was smashed though, but the damage is still almost. And there's food on the way. He lifted the stick and hit it again. This time the watermelon was smashed to pieces. I can eat what I want. The second is Lucas. His traps are very elaborate. Ben wanted to test it with dogs, but it cried for an hour. This death trap is no joke. I'm sure I can knock it out and spit shit. The trap matches its surroundings perfectly. It looks beautiful. Any animal that dies in this trap is lucky for them. Next up is the watermelon test. Shit, it looks so good. I didn't expect such a dish. I just blew so much. I was so embarrassed that I took a shit. The overall effect is not as good as Britt's. Not the first trap. He came to test the second trap. Made a little duck out of wood. After a simulation test, the trap successfully fell and caught the wooden duck. The third is Jordan's shelter trap. He was told to build a trap. He even made it out of the shelter, although it looks big. But a trap like this is useless without a cow. While testing the watermelon, the trap smashed the watermelon to pieces. It's really powerful. What's Chris going to do in the end? Britt had a lot of problems building the trap. I mean, we can work it all out, but the overall effect is not ideal. And it's not a pretty trap. Jordan's trap is the biggest. It's also the most lethal. You can chop up watermelon at once. Catching a cow or a black bear is no problem. Lucas's traps are very elaborate, but the damage is minimal. You can't smash a watermelon. In the end, Lucas's trap didn't work out as planned. The winner of this challenge is Jordan. After all, he created the biggest trap of all.
Now I get to enjoy the spoils of battle.
Two. Yeah, I'm not super impressed, to be honest. Looking for grain.
Here comes your predator. Hey!
And it's deadly too. So which trap do you think is the best? Feel free to leave a comment below. Living alone in the wilderness is the most challenging in history. Past season champions return to challenge. Besides their hunting abilities, they're off the charts. The construction capacity is also excellent. They have 3 days to build a water shelter. The winner will receive a $50,000 prize. Our first contestant, Britt. He was the runner-up in Season 5. Hunting ability and building ability are excellent. Runner-up Kelly survived 72 days in Season 3. Bamboo shelters were set up. He is too weak to catch fish. Third, Joel only survived 40 days in Season 7. But I eat barbecue almost every day. The ability to build and hunt is superb. This time, Judge Jordan. He was the Season 6 champion.
Let's see it happen.
All right, the moment of truth.
Let's see what we're getting ourselves into.
Kelly and Joel, I got this one.
Jordan,
A raft, I'm already excited.
your challenge is build a raft with a shelter.
I don't even know what my tools are yet.
So it looks like we have a parang, folding saw, 50 feet of paracord.
Just thinking about what I'm going to do. Hopefully I have the tools to do it with.
And that is it.
Hunted a 300-pound deer. Each player gets a box. The players use the tools inside to complete the challenge.
Let's get started.
Good challenge, Jordan. It's a good challenge.
Build a water shelter for this challenge. And I get to spend the night up there. This is probably the hardest challenge ever. Opening day. Each player is placed in a different environment. They will use local materials. Set up a suitable stroke. There's a lot of dead wood on Britt's side. He planned to use the wood to build a raft. He made a frame out of wood, then put the bamboo tube on top to make a flat surface. But it looks like wood doesn't float very well, because it's a night on the raft, so the surface can't leak. He's gonna have to make some changes to the raft. Kelly begins to explore the surroundings. She wants to build a raft. Need to find some dead wood head. These pieces of fallen wood are the first choice. She gathered the wood. Then they started building the frame of the raft. The wooden raft seemed to have a very large frame. Looks like they're building a villa. Joel also plans to build a wooden raft. He has his eye on a tree. The tree is dead. Dry wood floats better. It's the material of choice for rafts. Joel peeled back the bark. You can see that the wood is really dry. Building a raft is no less work than building a shelter. Not to mention Joel's building a raft shelter. Joel will collect the good wood, move to the river, and started building. I'm tired of chopping wood. It's a long way to move wood. First, he tests the wood's buoyancy. He put all the wood in the water. The wood is barely strong enough to bear his weight. I think we need more wood. And now he doesn't know what to do. Can only carry wood again. Britt's frame is wood and bamboo. Kelly's is a double wooden structure. Try to lay the surface as close as possible. It's the only way to hold up a shelter and a person's weight on it. She bundled the wood together. The more wood you use, the heavier it gets. As long as you can lift a person's weight, it's probably not a problem. The raft is now complete. Now she has to find materials to build a shelter. Kelly spread the veneer on the raft. It's supposed to prevent leaks. That's a lot of work. After tying the bark, a raft is almost complete. Next, she's going to turn the raft into a shelter. Expect her to do well. Britt's bamboo raft is in the water. It floats though, but there are uneven conditions. He's going to replace the driftwood underneath. Britt found 2 pine logs. The wood is very light. He stuck the wood in the bottom of the raft. This makes the raft float very well. The raft was lifted up successfully. Should be able to hold his weight. Time to the next day. Joel got some more wood. He also plans to build a double-decker raft. Use oversized strips of wood. The light is tens of pounds. If it's heavy, it can't be moved. A raft built out of a piece of wood this big. Feeling absolutely safe, he tied the first layer of wood with ropes. But that's not enough. Then he began to build the second structure, mainly so that dry and wet separation does not affect the shelter. Every piece of wood is very delicate, and it's solid and reliable. Now he can't wait to get in the water and test it. This raft looks like it weighs 100 pounds. Brick starts building shelters. He's looking for something light. It was no accident that bamboo was chosen. Bamboo shelters are the lightest material. It's easy to set up. He built a frame of small bamboo. He'll probably have to lie down on his own. Guardrail on both sides. Not afraid to fall into the water and drown at night. Cut your hand every time you use bamboo. Britt's luck is as black as his face. Finally placed a frame on the raft. Joel started building shelters too. Callie also starts building shelters. But she used such a big piece of wood. Make a bed. Did she really believe so much in the raft she built? There's a guardrail on the wooden bed. The bark was added to the top. Everything this girl does is so delicate, you know? She's afraid her raft won't hold the weight. With a wooden bed structure in place, and a lot of grass, lay them on top of the bed to make a mattress. But it's nice to sleep. Time came to the third day. Britt set up the structure of the shelter yesterday. All we have to do today is perfect the roof of the shelter. He spread bamboo over it to make a roof. But floatability is not very good. He dismantled the bamboo again. The sky is going to rain. This will affect his work schedule. Joel prepares to be built a wooden shelter for his raft. Although it looks very nice, but it must be very heavy. But for this double-decker raft, it must be nothing. He used hay as a roof structure for his raft. This should be the lightest material. Now his raft is almost complete. Callie's done a lot of work here too, although the wooden bed is very heavy. But her roof is made of grass. Everyone's putting up the roof, and Britt still hasn't figured out how to build the roof. This schedule is very urgent for him, because we're spending the night on the raft. Joel's just got to finish the roof. You can go in the water. Callie wants to build a fireplace for the raft. There are a lot of ideas, and I want to make a chair. Didn't she give a second thought to the raft's weight? If it can be completed, then the odds are in her favor. It's already raining in Britt. He had to work in the rain. The shelter has to be finished tonight. After the rain stopped, he's starting to build shelters again. Not enough time. You just have to build a roof. But there were a few surprises along the way. His brain suddenly atrophied. Britt just dropped his challenge. Time came to the third day. Today is the day of assessment. Jordan's challenge mission. If they can build a water shelter in 3 days. We were given enough tools anyway. The shelter's requirements are simple. Can live a person. Can float on the water for a night. First up is Callie's water shelter. Before we got in the water, Kelly is afraid it won't float. So why build a bunch of stuff without thinking in the first place? She slowly lowered the wood into the water. Looks like it floats. It's not a big problem when she gets up there. The bark keeps out water. She managed to start a fire on it. And I caught a fish. Had a delicious meal. She will sleep on the water tonight. The second is Joel's shelter. He put the shelter in the water. It still looks good, and it can hold his weight. Double splints make perfect sense. He can lie on it. It should be okay tonight. Kelly managed to stay on the water for one night. It's not very comfortable, but it's also livable. I'm lucky I didn't roll in the water. Joel's shelter is perfectly safe. He slept in there dry all night. The second structure did not sink. The raft also floats very stable. The zombie apocalypse broke out. You could spend a lifetime on the water on this raft. Just don't make this life too long. Because Britt never finished building the shelter. So this is just between Callie and Joel. Callie's shelter has a lot of stuff. This looks like a huge plus, and it floats very well. If the competition requirements are met, the more functional the raft becomes, the more likely you are to win. And Joe's shelter is doing a great job. It's all native wood. Floatability should be the best, but the shelter isn't as functional as Callie. Their rafts are up to the challenge. But the winner was Kelly, because she put in more effort, and the shelter is very good. So
It was an interesting night's sleep.
My raft is stable, it floats.
Ultimately, I have to choose Callie.
who do you think has the better shelter? Feel free to leave a comment.